Alrighty guys, we are finally back. Welcome. Sorry, I was on mute YouTube, so I already did say g'day, but as per usual, forgot to unmute myself. But anyway guys, good to be back. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get this show on the road. So as always guys, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening, no matter where we are around the world. Welcome to yet another edition of the London session. And apologies for being away for the past week and a bit, almost 2 weeks. I haven't been on the stream. I think it's, yeah, pretty much 2 weeks. So took a little bit of a chance to have some time off before heading back to Oz, and definitely enjoy myself. But nonetheless, it is good to be back and on the charts. I've not looked at the charts myself since the last stream, so happy to be back and see what we can come up with moving forward. Guys, you know the drill. If you could, in the meantime, don't forget to smash that like button on YouTube, TikTok, hit that little screen for me. Let's get the masses onto the stream. Not expecting all that many on the stream, to be honest, today, but we'll slowly work that back up to its usual numbers and higher from there. But guys, without further ado, let's have a look at, first of all, the news. Let's see what we've got moving forward here today. We did have FOMC, or did we not? Not sure, with obviously US government shutdowns. But nonetheless, moving forward here today, nothing scheduled for our stream here today. We do, however, have obviously some more high impact news come into the MI session moving forward. That is just a little bit after the open, so be wary of that for those who are trading into MI session here today. And look at this, guys. So have I or have I not been calling for gold to continue bullish the whole way along, when many people are saying it's got to pull back? You have no idea what you're talking about. Look at it now. We have already breached that 4,000 mark earlier than what I probably would have expected. Where to next? Well, I do believe we're still heading very bullish. So guys, as per the usual too, if you'd like me to have a look at any pair in particular, or any general questions or anything you'd like to say, feel free to chuck that into the chat and I will get to you guys shortly. Without further ado, let's get cracking. Let's get stuck into the analysis, guys, and let's have a look at the beast that is the gold. Starting at that weekly time frame, and what we can see is, guys, we are yet again extremely bullish into uncharted territories here on gold. Breach that 4K mark, so we're strong bullish. Being Thursday, we're likely going to close very strong bullish. Looking at the daily time frame, yesterday's candle closed strong bullish as well. Current candle, inside bar candles created a significant low wick, is now approaching its high again. So what we're going to do is mark in the current daily candles high, see if we have any clean area above that to perhaps retest the all-time high yet again. 4 hour starting to look at the structure here, and what we can see is we are also definitely bullish in structure on the 4 hour, and that won't actually change at this rate until back below really this swing point at 38.18. So we're a long way off flipping any structure in a 4 hour. We are very bullish, and we're about to close a strong bullish candle. Will we engulf? What remains to be seen. Still have some 6 minutes, just under 6 minutes remaining. Current 4 hour candle. We will mark in this level as support just prior to it being confirmed, and we're going to move down to the 15-minute time frame. So we're bullish here across the board. Having a look now at the 15 though, is there something to be seen here in regards to perhaps a little bit of a structure flip on the minor time frame? So we're just going to quickly need these zones up a tad, drag it to most recent price action. It's the highest point of any bearish candle. It's just a tad below the all-time high. We've recently formed minor resistance at some previous resistance here to the left. I'm not going to bother marking it in. Reason being is because I'm not interested in buying it into the resistance at the all-time high. There is no margin to do so. What we can see here on the 15-minute time frame, guys, is that this was the highest point the market got to, the all-time high. This was the swing point prior to it. So we have actually since flipped the structure bearish here on the 15-minute time frame. Does that open up any options for potential sells? I'm just going to remove the candlestick at daily high. What we can see is we are definitely bearish here in the 15. However, what we have done within the current daily candle is create that higher high. So to me, still very much in favor of the buys, guys. So I'm just going to mark in this as the most recent level of support, and what I'm going to be looking for here today is one of 3 scenarios. The first scenarios are going to be the buy option. So what we're going to be, 4 scenarios, guys. first I'll talk about the buy options though. So if price was to pop back down to this 4,026 sort of region, form a support, provide a price action catalyst from that point there, I would be interested in looking for a potential option and take a buy back up. There'll be a pullback within the current daily candle to a level of support it had previously created on the move to the upside, and therefore we did begin to form support above that point. I'd be happy to look for some potential buy options. Now the further buy options would be obviously above the high. So if we were to attack the highs, the resistance at the all-time high, trigger in some sellers, trap those sellers, wipe them out, pop above the all-time high, then obviously I will begin to I'll look at my options to take a buy upon continuation. All throughout this big move up, guys, called it all along. Everyone's been calling for pullbacks. Everyone's said we're overdue, we're going to pull back, we're going to pull back, and it just keeps on keeping on. Trade it with the trend, trade it with the bias, guys. So that, to me, if we did begin to pop above the all-time high, it would make absolute perfect sense to look for options to take a buy. Now, as for the sells, guys, as I did mention, we are technically bearish here on the 15-minute time frame. So first of all, if we were to once again pop up to grab liquidity from the all-time high of the resistance, only to reject, remain bearish in structure here on the 15-minute time frame, then to me that would not be a bad option to look for a sell. At least you're trading in line for the 15-minute structure itself. The daily could just be flipping back bullish to grab some liquidity before it heads back down again. So that would be one potential sell option. Now the better option for me would be if price popped back down to this most recent level of support at 40, 26, 25, bounced off it, triggered in buyers. Similar but opposite to the sell option I mentioned from the buy option, sorry, I mentioned from the all-time high. We trigger in some buyers, trap those buyers, close below the support form within the current daily candle, and we're likely heading back down to fill the wick on the current daily candle and attack the current daily / Asian session low. So I would consider the sell options here today, guys. Reason means because we do have the 15-minute time frame being bearish. If we didn't, I would only be interested in buying it. So that is my personal opinion of the gold team. I hope that makes sense to you all. Further options will be obviously the buy from support back lower down near the 4-hour support at 4,010, that sort of region. So 5 options there, guys, for gold here today, and that's what I'll be waiting for. See if any of those options present, then I'll be happy to look to execute upon a trade. If not, we're just going to chill, chat, and have a look at charts together. Now, so excuse me, guys, I've had basically no sleep for the past week, pretty much, to be honest. Did not get a second of sleep on the plane. Struggled last night with the time difference, so I am struggling along, but I am here. Looking at GJ now. This is a chart I sent into my members group, and it's just in consolidation. It is very bullish though at the minute. So for me, I would favor the buy side of things today. I'd be very bullish. I'd be looking for buys upon the pullback to 204, that sort of region. Sells below it would make sense, because at least you flip the 30-minute structure back bearish at that point, rejecting 205 psychological round number as well. And further options will be for buys above that 205 region. So GJ has been on the move to the upside of late by the looks of things. Quickly onto GU as well. I did send in a GU chart, and that to me is more on the downside of things at the minute. Would have been looking for potential sells from the resistance here. It's 4-hour level. I'll just quickly move it to the 4-hour. So there's the wick on that bearish candle to create resistance. So what we can see now on GU, we are rejecting a bit late if you're not ready to sell. So the next best option would be for wait for price to pop below at 133.960. Again, a support formed. It's also a level just above the low of the day. Sorry, just below low of the current daily candles low, the Asian session lows. So if we were to pop below that point there, once again trap those buyers, wipe those buyers out, close below, and I would definitely be keen on a sell back down towards the 4-hour support. And that is GU, guys. So hopefully that makes sense. But as per usual, I will be focused on the gold. Excuse me. In the meantime, guys, again, have to make the struggling along here, but And back Tony Gold, good day to you. Great to see you on stream again. Sebastian, appreciate you, my friend. Yeah, very relaxing, mate. Very relaxing. Probably overindulged a little bit, to be honest. So yeah, a little bit, had a little bit too many, a few too many beers maybe, vodka and sodas, but it was a good relaxing, you know, it was exactly a week, to be honest, just over a week. Oliver, good to see you too, mate. Hope you're well. To everyone on TikTok, welcome to you guys. Any questions from the TikTok gallery? Where's the chat here today? I cannot see the chat. I'll figure it out. Always teething options, guys. It's a different setup too, so it's always something. All right, here's the chat. All right, have I missed anything from the TikTok guys? Max London, yes, it is in an hour from now. Bryce and GJ, I'm looking for a reaction of 204 flat. So you're looking for a pullback to that point, 204. Yep, I like that level as well. I think that's a really good level to look for opportunities to take a buy if it does pull back to 204 flat. Still gonna be bullish in structure as long as it really remains above 203.90, to be honest. UDP, can you go in debt on a funded? No, you can't go in debt. You just lose your account. So whatever you paid for the funded account, that's all you're gonna lose. Docs 888, how high do you think gold can go up? For me, I've been a permable on gold, and I've been calling 4,000 for God knows how long throughout this past year. For the remainder of this year, well, let's look at it, guys. We're almost, not quite midway, but almost midway into October. And I do believe it's going to continue bullish. I would not be surprised to see gold around 4,300 by year's end, 4,400 perhaps. In regards to the future, I've said it again for quite a lengthy period of time now that I think we're heading to 10k and above eventually. I'm not saying it's going to happen, you know, next year or year after. I'm probably more by the turn of the century. Thing is, a lot of analysts and economists are calling for a market crash and for things to go pear-shaped. If that is the case, gold will initially be impacted by that as well, and will pull back if you know, shit hits the fan. We go into a full-blown recession, but it will also be the first thing to recover once people realize what's, you know, looking for somewhere safe to park their cash. It will eventually go back into gold and the other metals as well. So for me, I do believe it's going to continue very bullish. Also looking at silver here, we are very, very close to its all-time high against the US dollar. It's up at its all-time high against basically all the other major currencies. Against the US dollar, it is within a whisker of it, so it will break it. And I've heard some analysts call for $330. Not sure exactly where they've come up with that figure, how they've got that figure, but these are guys that I do respect and have been very right on things so far. So silver is my particular play when it comes to the potential return of things. I do have a bit of both, definitely a lot more silver than gold though. NGHHSK, what's your TP? Don't have one, not in a trade currently, so there is no trade. There is no TP. Docs, nice, may I agree. I buy silver coins when I can. Yep, I agree. I still do as well. I've been buying it for the past, what, 4 or 5 years now, silver coins. An affordable investment for most anyway. Franco, good morning to you, mate. Great to see you on stream. Any dope. look like, yeah, well, to be honest, I've not had sleep, so finding it really, really difficult to sleep. I've come back yesterday, I had stuff fall asleep. Went to bed early, well, early-ish, about 9:30. I was up at about 11:30 and I fell asleep again 6 a.m. for like an hour. So been a struggle, but that's all part of traveling. Members, guys, let me send you guys a link if you would like to join. It was good, to be honest. I didn't look at the charts from Monday a week ago. So what's that? About 10 days. It's always good to have a break, guys. Get a little bit of a rest, have a respite from the charts. Made a decent withdrawal prior to the break and I definitely enjoyed it. Up to a bit of mischief, as you do. Sat next to some prick on the plane who constantly coughing and sneezing, him and his wife. I reckon I'm coming down with something. I was all good, and I'm just starting to feel like I'm about to start coughing. It's always the fun part of planes and traveling, isn't it? There's always someone coughing and hit behind me, he's kicking a seat. Had to turn around a few times. Gave the guy a death stare that I was coughing all the time. He's covering his mouth, it's okay, but he half the time he didn't give a shit. Rice, tea and honey, yeah. Got hot chocolate, to be honest, but I should, yeah. Got some herbal tea, so I might need some of that. Manuka honey, got that too, so. Thank you to the few new followers as well, guys. Appreciate it. So it didn't surprise me, to be honest, seeing gold at the levels it's currently at. Again, silver as well. I've got the cryptos as well. Bitcoin made, by the looks of things, a new all-time high while I was away. It's always the deal. Is the US, have they actually, is the government closed? Is it shut down? Again, I've not followed nothing, not had a look at the news and any of that stuff. So I'm a little bit blindsided. I have no idea what's been going on. Sing, am I trading gold? Yeah, I'm looking at trading gold, waiting for any the confirmation. Jack, maybe even 4100. Good to see you on the stream as well, mate. Yeah, 4100 could even happen today. Who knows? In all honesty, would not surprise me. Anything could happen, to be honest. GC 69. Remember, this is a delayed feed. Seeing I don't have the Training View Pro. 69, so it's back in its consolidation. Yeah, it's a good chance. I mean, it's the 4-hour resistance. It's also up that all-time high. It's just below it. So yeah, I do believe if we do begin to break the high of the most recent bullish candle, and that could be I think it's a good chance of coming back up to 40.72 if that is to be the case. So but yeah, 4100 would not surprise me, to be honest. Nothing surprises me on gold these days. Jack, all good, brother, all good. Enjoyed a little break, but good to be back. Not back in Oz, but back on the stream. It's good to be back. It's never good to be back here in Oz, though. That's the honest truth. The only good thing about here for me is the gym. That's it. Gym's a lot better. I mean, the gym I was going to in my hometown in Thailand, that was also a quality gym. It just doesn't have as much well, freeway in general, just have as many you know, cables and all that stuff. It's not as much floor space. So that's the only thing I really miss, apart from obviously the old lady, my mother, the old man, sometimes dog. It's not much else here for me, to be honest. No, Jack, I'm back in Melbourne. John, no, I didn't get welcome to the country on a plane. Maybe because it was Thai Airways. It's probably something you have to do these days on Qantas or Jetstar. Wouldn't surprise me. Something else I saw a lot of though on the plane and wasn't too impressed by. You might be able to work that one out. Honestly, I think a lot of the other passengers were looking and thinking the exact same as me too. It's the direction this country's heading in though. Just when we thought apparently elbow sit's all stopping. Well, it's not. I can tell you there was at least 60 plus on our plane. Not speak a word of English. Even the bloody flight attendants were getting shitty with them. Unbelievable. The other thing that's not favorable here is the time of day now for trading, because the clocks are all changing. We've already pushed forward an hour, so now it means London open is 6 PM in, I think it's a few weeks time from now, when Europe and you guys in the UK push your sorry, rewind your clocks back an hour. We'll make it 7 PM, which means New York is at midnight, which is not great. It's really not good. So it means I don't trade New York. It's way too late for me. All right, so we're just in consolidation here on gold. Let's quickly look at some of the other pairs. GJ, nice strong candle, but still in the middle of consolidation here. Nothing much on GJ. EA, just quickly looking at that. Let's actually do some analysis here on EA. Is a pair I may consider adding along with gold eventually. So what we can see is the weekly is forming a strong bearish candle onto the daily time frame here. We are at some very strong support. Do have counter probabilities being to the downside, but we are also at a level that price could potentially bounce off. So what I would do is marking the current daily candles high, seeing we know we've tapped into that support and is a potential level now for us to reverse from. The 4 hour is definitely bearish in structure, but once again we're at a very strong level of support here to the left. Just broken through one, we've not quite tapped into one below. Just mark that whole level in. As far as resistance, this is the most recent one of that, and we'll make our way down to the 30-minute time frame. We're also technically bearish here in the M30. All right, so perfect. What I'd be looking at on EA is, as long as we remain below 176.67, I'd be looking for sell options. We're forming a very strong bearish candle on the weekly. We are bearish pretty much across the board here. So as long as we remain below that point there, we're going to remain bearish in structure on that minor time frame. So I would preference a sell option from upon a pullback and rejection of that level there. Further options would be, is there a margin below the low? I don't think there is. Let's see if we can just neaten this zone up a little bit. No, you're running straight into that support. So it's likely going to be a pullback sell. Let's quickly measure it nonetheless, just to see. Yeah, it's not going to be enough margin. So I'll be looking for the pullback sell, or what would be nice is if perhaps before tapping into the 4 hour support and the daily support yet again, is if in fact we close back bullish in this candle here, reject, come back down, and then begin to flip the structure on the M30 time frame after tapping into the high time frame support. That would be a really strong catalyst that I would be very I'd be more than happy to look for a buy option based off that. So for me to look for the buys, I'd want to tap into the support lower down, flip the 30-minute structure, and then look for a buy back up. Otherwise, I'd be looking for options to buy it above the resistance here upon a confirmation of the 30-minute structure, flipping back in the bullish direction. And that is what I would personally look at, those who are interested on EA. Quickly onto GU again, so it's rejecting pretty heavily here. It's pretty much made the move though, so if you're not in it, not much you can do with that. EU is similar. Is it flip structure here on the M30 though? Yeah, so EU is technically bullish here on the 30-minute time frame. So EU, the options for me would be, I'd be looking for buys. To be honest, got daily forming bullish. If it does remain bullish and it does form support at the current level, I'd be waiting for a price action catalyst. It's made a pretty clean move down now. So if it was to once again form support back at this level here, I would be looking for price to give me my signal from this level and look for a buy back up towards the daily candles high. Above that point, you got some clean options to buy it as well. I'll be looking for further buys above that point there. And I'd be waiting for price to close below the support here, just below the daily low, around that 116.238 to be exact for the sell options. At that point, you would have a confirmation of the 30-minute structure flipping back bearish. Assuming that that would have been, because it's a gap, you likely would have had 2 or more consecutive bearish candles. This little swing here, I would consider that to be the level where structure would technically flip back to the downside. So that is EU. AU, very similar to EU. Euro CAD breaking some support. UJ up at some pretty high levels. I've heard people call for 170 as well. So they're, look at that. Wow. It's last time we're at that level. February earlier this year. All right, so it's really forming very strong bullish. We've got daily about to break the high of the previous daily candle as well. Just mark that level in. Move on to the 4 hour, just consolidating, but we are forming a really strong bullish candle here. We'll mark in the levels, we'll mark in support, and then we'll mark in a level on the M30 as far as the resistance. All right, so we've just broken that previous daily candles high as we speak. Yeah, so continuation buys above the high, got very clean traffic to the left. You want to see a closure above, but seeing it's come from low, what I would do is preference at least a little bit of a pause here in the 15-minute time frame. You've literally come from pretty much the low of the day. So preference maybe a little bit of a bearish pause on the 15-minute, where it's to be above or below, and then wait for, if it's to be a low, below, sorry. What I want to see is something like this happen. So free education, guys. So trigger in the sellers. When you hear me say let's trigger in sellers, only for them to be wiped out, for them to be trapped, price begins to pop back above, stops those sellers out, taps back into that resistance, and then continues bullish. So that's what I mean by prior to looking for a buy here, I'd rather trigger in the sellers, trap the sellers, and then look for a buy based off that. And if nothing else, if this was to close bullish above, then still want to trigger in sellers, and this would be perhaps an even strong confirmation. If it was to close something like so, a very weak bearish candle wicking down back into the range below, only to reject, forming that minor resistance above. Once again, we're triggered in those sellers. Once again, based off my data, I know that if we were to create the lower wick, begin to break above that minor pause candle with the clean traffic here to the left, there's a high probability that price would continue bullish based off that as well. So that is what I would personally look for on UJ if anyone is interested. And back to gold, and we are doing what we have been doing for the past few months on this stream, consolidating. Much has changed. Carl, good day to you, mate. Hope you're well. Yep, full margin trades there, getting them ready. Jack, again, like I always say, mate, I don't have a crystal ball to be able to tell you. It could, but I just have a plan, react to your plan. So if your plan is to look for buys from support, have that level marked in and wait for it to come back down. Your plan is to look for sells upon rejection of 40.72. You need to wait for that. I would avoid buying it into this whole level because it is a level of accumulation. So there would be a lot of liquidity at where we currently at, and we are once again grabbing that liquidity by consolidating in order for it to make another move. Whether it be to the upside, downside remains to be seen. I would not predict where price would go out of this consolidation. I would wait and react. And if it so happens to make the move down, like I mentioned before, you got options around this on GC here. It's a little bit higher up, 40.46 as a potential buy zone. Otherwise 40.32 would be another level. Buys above the high and sells from the resistance. That's what I would personally look for. $24K pars, Nasdaq longs on. It's also upping all-time highs, or is it at its all-time high? Yeah, so as with gold, continuing very bullish. So last time I looked at NAS, we're down here. So we're, wow, absolutely flying here on NAS. No lower wick and weekly again. Always mention, people are going to say it's got to pull back to create that wick, grab that liquidity from the downside. Doesn't necessarily have to. As long as any pullback within the current weekly candle is met by support, good chance of that pullback has grabbed enough liquidity to continue the candle forming bullish. Daily, very very strong bullish in the previous daily candle. Marking a low and high, and just see if we have any minor time frame structure flip below the current daily candle's low. 4 hour, obviously it's very bullish. We just recently formed some support here as well. Be marking that in resistance, be marking that in, and we'll be obviously adjusting that on the M15. So not much of a range here at the minute, but that's what I would do to just adjust it along a bit. If it needed up a little bit, I would drag that down. And I would argue, similar to gold, it's actually flipped bearish here on the minor time frame. So sells below 25,136.46 would make sense. You got some very clean traffic below that point there. Also broken a level of support just below the current daily candle's low. So as I mentioned, if we begun to pop back down to the current daily candle's low, we'll definitely be interested in selling it from that level. Have I removed my Asian set? Should I do remove it? No, I'll have to add it back later. Yeah, so I'd be looking for price come back down towards the Asian session lows, see if it forms support from that level for a buy, or otherwise look for some sell options below that point. Further options for me, if I was to trade NAS, would be, look, if it does close bearish here, it looks to be closing too strong of a bearish candle, so therefore what I would need to see in order to look for a trade to the upside would be something like this, a bullish engulfing candle. That point there, we could do have some clean traffic back up to the highs here. You do have enough margin by the looks of it. It would all depend on what sort of stop loss you can get as well. So that could be a potential buy option to attack the all-time high yet again, and further buys yet again above the all-time high. And that is my personal opinion of NAS for anyone interested. So for Abdi, good day to you. Gold is very slow this morning, it is. Armanis, good day to you. Gold, so I'm waiting for pullback buys to 40.26, that sort of region. I do believe sells are pretty good below it because we are technically bearish in the 15-minute time frame here on the structure itself. I know we have created a higher high than the current daily candle, but that being said, this is the basically the origin of the swing low. That is the lowest point of the swing low. It flipped the structure from from bullish to bearish on the closure below this point here. So as long as we really remain above basically pretty much the all-time high, we're technically bearish here in the 15-minute time frame. But having said that, the price is still very bullish. If it did pull back to 40.26, I'd be looking for buy options. Sells below that 40.25.50. Buys from lower down at 40.10. Sells from below on a retest to 40.50. And buys above the all-time high. Thank you to the new followers as well. Nomthi, thank you for the sticker as well. Appreciate it. So the stream should be back to normal, guys, which is good. And it will be a live sim session possibly this weekend. I'll just see if I've recovered yet from the lack of sleep. But there will be a live sim session, guys. I will be dropping a video, sponsored video from Forex Tester. That should be dropped maybe over the weekend. Been already finalized, it's all been approved, so expect that to be dropped soon. So it is a very impressive toolkit, guys. If anyone is interested, more than welcome to contact me about it. I do have a discount code. It is in the description of the YouTube stream, on the YouTube stream. Something I've been working on. Works exactly like TradingView, to be honest, guys. Exactly the same as TradingView. Yeah, really good toolkit. You can trade tick for tick data in real time, every single tick printed in the past, or you can speed it up, or you can just skip candles, so on and so forth. You can go to auto execution as well. You don't have to wait to see if it got triggered in. You can literally go to it, go to the end result. So things like that helps to speed up the back testing process. No name, thank you, mate. Can't say it's good to be back, but here's what it is. It's the old lady's birthday tomorrow, so I couldn't miss it. Asset sim, yeah, gold, just gold, to be honest. It's a nice strong closure out of consolidation. Now sells wouldn't be bad, but the issue is you've got a massive stop, guys, and not much margin. You're looking at 76, so you're looking at 78 pip stop loss. It's too late now anyway for potential 45 pip return once you count for spread. I mean, the only thing you could look at is if this pulled back to create a deeper upper wick. Now this is tempting. This is more tempting. If price was to begin to break its own low again, this depends how far this candle's going to pull back. It could be a cheeky little sell option, but you've got now 36 pips roughly to target to downside. So let's just see how far this candle pulls back. Remembering we are technically bearish in structure on a 15-minute time frame. We do have clean traffic down. So if we did pull back, perhaps I think this is not a bad option. 34, it just can't pop up much further, guys, because again, you're not going to have enough. You're going to have too wide of a stop loss for too little of a target. So this is to be the highest point. We're looking at potential sells here, guys, below, depending on your broker. For me, it'd be 40, 30.14. Stop loss back above the high. So 40, 30, 14. Now the target will be this support. So you're looking about a 1-to-1. Stop loss above the high. It'd be a quick in and out trade in anticipation that there's a good chance price is going to retest the lows or retest this support. Sorry, but it can't pop up and break its own high. If it does, it's just we're not gonna have the margin, to be honest. It's gonna be too wide of a stop loss to worry about it. So currently got an order set, but obviously not in yet. Yeah, I'm gonna remove it by the looks of it. We're popping up more. Yeah. All right, so what would stop loss be now? Yeah, forget it. All right, removing the order, guys. Yeah, I've removed the order. So we're just patiently waiting again. Dern, mate, welcome to you. I hope you're well. Welcome, brothers. Great catching up with you again over in Bangkok. Thank you once again for that meal, by the way. Legend, mate. No name, could you explain the blue zone you marked in? No, lol. Yeah, I don't have a choice. There is no zone, to be honest, but I've just used that bearish counter wick. Basically, because I just didn't want to have a horizontal. But I know what you mean. There's no actual zone there. Now, my guys, we can see something interesting, but from the data I am gathering through this particular session on Forex Tester, got the analytics for it. I'll show my team later, because what I'm doing is I'm noting down how long after. So we got the interruption counter here. Generally speaking, how long after when it taps in is it a winning trade? So how many candles? I'm counting the candles. Generally speaking, I'm looking at no more than 5-6 candles, and it's a high probability trade. Let's just count so far. We've not yet tapped in. We've got, since it being confirmed, so it's confirmed here, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 candles print. So to me, this is a lower probability IC entry. But as I plot along with the testing, I'm again noting down exactly how many candles it's taking to trigger in, and I'll accumulate enough data that would suggest to me maybe it could be under 10 candles, sorry. Could be that less than 5 is a lot, you know, 80% win rate, 5 to 10 is 60, 10 above is maybe 40, something like that. So that is the length you've got to go to in order to really gather the data to back something up to suggest it is a good enough of an edge for you to perhaps profit moving forward with. So asset sim 40-30. What for a buy? That's just rebounding now, isn't it? Which app am I using? NG. This is TradingView, but to actually trade MetaTrader 5. No, found the same with the IC play and the channels that have been formed afterwards. Yeah, I think you really want to be triggered in pretty early into it. So not long, I mean, like within maybe 5 candles afterwards. That being said, though, be different. Obviously, it's going to be different in a 30-minute time frame. less candle sprint, and then again obviously going to be different on the 1 hour and as you go up in the time frames. The daily I found to be a really quality entry. I'm going to go through testing basically all the different time frames. Asset sim, how much are you waiting to buy it? What levels you mean? I'm looking for 40.26 for price to drop to that point there and provide my entry catalyst from that zone. Otherwise from lower down, 40.10, and further buys above the all-time high. That's what we look at. Would not be buying it above the current daily high because you're running into a really strong zone of accumulation there to the left. So these levels of consolidation are levels that price would tend to sort of gravitate to like a bit of a magnet. Because what you're going to see is if I use the indicator, you're going to see the volume will spike around these levels of consolidation. So it is a build up in liquidity which eventually leads to another move, whether it be down or up. It's something you need to react to once you get the right confirmation. Now, once again, not going to have the margin here, guys, because stop loss is too wide. But if this closed weak bearish, normally that would be a nice price action. Sorry, weak bullish. That would be a nice price action catalyst. Look for a sell on the following candle. But we won't have the margin. The only other option would be if it does close weak bullish, followed by the new candle creating a smallish upper wick, and that we'd have to trust that as a stop loss. Looking to sell it as it broke the low of the minor bullish candle, the weak bullish candle. Fuzzy, which chart? No, it's not in the minute. It's the 15 for the most part. Asset sim 4010, it is a strong level. Nev, g'day to you, brother. I did send a link, didn't I? Yeah. Fatty, where's my entry area? 40.26, that sort of region, and below it for sells. Otherwise, rejection sells from 40.50 to resistance formed at the all-time high here, the 4-hour resistance. Or buys above the all-time high. That's pretty much what I'm looking at. I need time frame, yes, 15 and 15. That's at sim 40.26. That's a level I'd be interested in. So another little trick of mine, guys, and this is free education, so make of it what you will. It's in my course. My guys know it as a catalyst, a signal. What I could do here is use the fib and draw from high to low, and if this candle was to close below to 0.382, what that would suggest to me is it is a weak pause candle, so a weak bullish candle. We have retested the consolidation. We are pulling back below it. So if this closed weak bullish, what we've done is we've formed some minor support. Also closed weak enough to suggest that grab liquidity from the upside, and if prices begin to do something like this on the following candle, create an upper wick, begin to break the low of the bullish candle, there'd be a high probability of price coming back down to the next line of minor support here. So happens to be it is flipping at the minute though, so nothing to do about it. But if it did close back weak bullish and we had the margin, that is something I could potentially look to execute upon. But at the minute, looks like it's something we can forget about. Mr. Kevin, when am I looking for a buy? Potentially, if I get the right confirmation, do so from 40.26, that sort of region. TikTok as well, guys. Don't forget, would be worth your while at some point if you would jump across to the YouTube stream, and make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Wow, look at that. Just in case I do go missing on TikTok if I get the ban hammer. It's the exact same profile name, so you can't miss it. Streaming live now on YouTube as well. Let's look in a 5 minutes, see if there was anything. Not a bad confirmation just there, to be honest, but once again, you don't have the margin, because this candle itself, it would have been too wide of a stop based off that candle. 150 pips off based off a 5 minute candle. It's just not worth it with a target of roughly 40, less than 40 pips. Definitely not worth that, the risk, in my opinion. As it seemed, do you think it's down to 40, 23, what's that level? Look, it could look a bit different. I'm not sure what broker you're using to mark up your chart, but for me, I'm not sure what you're seeing at 23 level. I'm looking at 25 to 26 sort of region. Let's have a look at it on, maybe on the 5 minute, it could be something. No, I don't even see it there. I mean, it could. Anything could really happen, can't it? So, Mr. Kevin, exact same, mate. Exact same. And you get the full screen as well, guys. You get the numbers and all. I've got little text to the right hand side of the zones here. Now, continue to feel free to ask questions, guys. I will take a look at other pairs for you if you are interested. Much I can do with gold at the minute. Quickly take a look at GJ. It's the same shit, consolidating. EA, as I mentioned before. All right, so EA, I'd be looking for sell options on this pullback. Made a nice clean move up, which is good. It means the move back down is more probable if it does reject. Now, it doesn't necessarily need plot to 176.626. We are at a minor level of resistance just now, or even at 176.550, 560. That sort of region is another level where it could potentially pull back to before rejecting. Quickly at GU, wow, look at that. It's just melting at the minute. As is EU. All right, so we did say potential sells below. Hasn't quite triggered in buyers from this level though, so it would have been a little bit more risky, but it is making a move below that point there. AU, UJ, we called for buys above the high. All right, let's see, did it trigger in some sellers? Again, not quite. It has wicked back below. It just depends on price action within this candle, how it formed. If I would have taken a potential entry there, likely not. 5 minute does look good to continue bullish though. What else? EJ, that looks good. Looks like it potentially could be breaking out. Let's quickly do the analysis on it. Weekly, wow, this thing is absolutely off to the races. When was the last time we're at this level? Don't even have the data. No, wow, EJ is at all-time highs. Daily, just broken the high of the previous daily, marking the high and low of the current daily candle. Move on to the 4 hours. So we're very bullish here. The 4 hours obviously bullish in structure as well. Marking levels here on EM30 actually. Using pretty much this whole level of support. Resistance, you've broken out through resistance. EJ looks pretty good to continue bullish here, guys. What I probably would do is though, I'd probably wait for London Open, just see where we are. Once again, perhaps may trigger in some sellers here on the M15. That would be nice. And then wipe those sellers out at the open. That could be a good option to take a buy, but I do believe we are looking good to continue to the upside. And obviously the other option would be to wait for price to pop back down to 177.50, that sort of region, for some further buy options. Gold continuing to the downside here, so nothing at the minute. El Patron, you want to sell? No, I was looking at potential sell, but I didn't quite get the right confirmation here. So this candle pulled way back too far for me to look for a sell. I had not enough margin. Not that I'm a big component on risk to reward. I don't always need a big risk to reward, but I would still at least like to have the margin for a 1-to-1. And in this case, there wasn't even that, so nothing there for me. Emilis, when to buy and sell gold is, well, the next area I'm looking at is around that 40.26 sort of region for a potential buy. I would also contemplate sells below 40.25.50. We do have some clean traffic, and we are, the way I see it, a lot of people are going to think opposite to my opinion. That's fair enough, but the way I see it, we are technically bearish in structure on the 15-minute time frame. I'm not saying we're bearish in bias. That's definitely bullish. It's extremely bullish, but I do see potential option to sell below at 40.25.50. DS Nevek, hope you're well, brother. Welcome back to the stream. Yeah, all well, mate. Just a bit tired. As the sim M30 go down to 40.12. Let's look at the M30. Yeah, that's a level. 40.12. There's a good chance that if we break below 15-minute support here, that could be a likely destination. Yep, even on 15, it looks good. Tempting the world, bro, Yiking. Appreciate the kind comment. All the shit ones are going to come eventually, I know it. All right, so we've got just under 12 minutes until London session open, guys. Let's see where we're at. Good things, we are approaching level of interest, so about to tap into that level. Now I want to see, really want to see how we react to it, because even if we close back bearish, but if we leave a decent low wick back into this zone below and we close a weaker bearish candle, I will contemplate options to buy it at the open. I would also contemplate options to buy it at the open again if we remain above this support and wick straight down at the open without creating an upper wick. That is something just plain and pure price action. There's a high probability we're going to pull back up to create a wick in the opposite direction. Haven't done so here though. It does have a tiny upper wick if I did really zoom in, but not all candles will have wicks in either direction. It is something a little bit risky. Rio open to sell at 40.31 up so far. Nice one. Yeah, just to be honest, just be wary of a few things. We are approaching session open. We are at a very minor level. It's a bit of an insignificant level, but it is level created in a daily candle on the move up. So it is a potential level that price could bounce off. So just be wary of that. I'd be at break even. I would have secured most of it by now, to be honest, but just depends on what your target is and if you're in it for, you know, a swing or a day trade or what the deal is. If you're scalping it, just be wary of what I mentioned though. Netropa 32, yes, I am preferring a buy option. Mr. Kevin, what if it breaks past 40.25? Should it go? I believe there's a high probability of it considering bearish. So not breaking past, because it has broken past. What I mentioned is, what I did mention is that we are at a minor level of support, and we've come from well above it. There is no impulse entries for me, so I would not just set a sell stop order at 40.25. I would definitely wait for a closure below that point before contemplating sells. Mr. Kevin, I personally wouldn't be buying right now. I'd be waiting to see where this candle closes, waiting for the session open, see how we react at the open. Optic prints, will ADA go up? No idea. Quickly look at it actually. USD, UST. Hold on, let me. Where is it? 80. So I sold it around $1 a while back. To be honest, as with pretty much most of the altcoins, they're gonna follow Bitcoin in the end. ADA's, by the looks of it, struggling along, hasn't really followed Bitcoin's a great deal. Ethereum going pretty strong by the looks of it. Yeah, by the looks of it, the altcoins are pretty much just following each other along, basically in consolidation. XRP as well. Do I believe they have potential upside? Yeah. A bit like gold and silver, I suppose. Gold takes the lead and then silver takes over, and takes over with more momentum. Because it's a smaller market cap, doesn't take as much to move it as it does gold. Wow. Gold shitting the bed at the minute. So we could have sell options, guys. And again, we'll come down to the way we actually form the London open candle. Reason being is because if we close below on this candle, got to contemplate a few things. Stop loss is going to be massive. You're going to be looking at around an 80 plus pip stop, and this candle still has more than 7 minutes to print, so it could create a lower low. So what we want to see, if we are to look for continuation sells here, guys, is first of all, we need that confirmation, the closure below. Second of all, we need price to retest, pull back up, retest, begin to pull away, and that's going to be our stop loss. And as it begins to break the catalyst candles low, we're going to be targeting the support back at 40.12, that sort of region. So it's something we could look for. Now, what may happen though, and this was to happen, we don't necessarily need to wait for it to pull all the way back to retest, is that if we in the next, so it will have to happen very soon. So I mean, it will have to happen within the next 6 minutes. So what I want to see is basically this candle closing below on the 5 minute. And again, free education, guys, followed by the next candle perhaps closing back very weak bullish, retesting. What that's going to do is still close the M15, the M30, the hourly below the support, but we've retested within the catalyst candle. So all we need on the following London open candle is a decent upper wick. Taps into the zone, fantastic. It doesn't, it's still valid because we've already done so within our catalyst candle. As soon as it pulls back to create a decent upper wick, we're sell stopping the low of the catalyst candle, or we're preparing a sell stop, or market executing as it breaks. The issue with market executing, that's also the same issue, I suppose, with stop orders. If there's volume, you're going to get slipped on your entry. Just depends. I haven't been slipped much at all of late when it comes to stop orders or limit orders. I never get slipped. Stop orders very rarely now with the broker I use. But if you market execute, that could be that split little second. You're not using a VPS as well. That fraction of a second could trigger you in at, so let's just say you're looking to get triggered at 40.24, could trigger you in 40.20, 23.20 or something, so on and so forth. So that's just things you need to be wary of, guys. Now, if we close back above like so, then I'm going to be tempted to buy it at the open. As long as we create a low wick, what I'd want to see is price not creating an upper wick at all, creating a low wick, tapping into this zone, perhaps even into the range below, and if it begins to flip. So these are some scenarios, guys. I'm giving you plenty of options. That doesn't mean we're definitely taking a trade. It's if they present. So if we just drop, so it'd be bearish, obviously. To say we're closing back above, we just drop back into this range below. What I would do is look to buy it as it begins to flip, because if we once again flip, that would suggest to me 2 times now we would have grabbed liquidity from the downside. And if we were to begin to flip, so twice, were to begin to flip back bullish, there's a high probability it will end up back towards the daily high. So that's something that we could potentially plan for, but we need to wait. All right, so just under 4 minutes, guys. Nick, great. No worries. Coptic Prince, all good. Asset Sim, 40.26 and closed at 240.29. Nice one. Scalp, well done. Rio just closed short, only play with small numbers, but still a nice problem. Nice one, mate. Well done. And well done not being too greedy. Well, not being greedy. It's very well done. Maurice sells to hell current gold market. Yeah, it's definitely not easy to sell. It's very, very, very bullish. KSS multimedia. I can't focus if it's white. I can't do it, mate. I'm sorry. It's too bright for my eyes, my old eyes. Good to see the numbers aren't too bad actually. TikTok, surprised to be honest. I didn't expect to be close to 100 today. Not, you know, not over it, but appreciate the 100+ of you on stream. Thank you to new followers on YouTube. Thank you to the loyal you on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. All right, so let's see if we can manage to get involved in an entry here. Now, by the looks of it, it's going to be a very impulsive one, if any, and it will look likely at this stage to be to the upside if we close where we're at. I'll try to keep you guys posted as I possibly can. As the 5-minute close below, not done so. So if it closes below and we're looking for the sell, we definitely need that retest now. You can see the 5-minute appears to be exhausting. We've left multiple wicks into the range below. It's like we may close above here, so we're going to be watching this very closely for a potential buy, guys. What we want to see, I'll mention it again, we want to see the London open candle dropping straight down, referencing it tapping into the range below again, and as it begins to flip, I'm going to look to buy it. If that happens, if it pops up first then down, forget about it. We'll reassess if that is to be the case. Still may be an option, but we need to reassess. I'm not going to jump straight in if that is to be the case. So we'll see where this closes. We've got just over, we've got 20 seconds remaining. I want it to pop up a little bit higher. Gonna be stuck right in the middle here, isn't it? Not the ideal closure by the looks of things, but let's see how the market, how we open here. Pop straight up. All right, so nothing at the minute, guys. We'll pop straight up at the open of the new candle. Close back relatively strong bearish. We've closed below the bodies of the candles here to the left. Being said, there is no real opportunity for me to buy it at the minute. Nor is there one to sell it, because I don't really like it when we close that. I really want it to close below it. Yeah, nothing for me at the minute. I'm just chilling. Let the London session first 15 minutes print. GJ, mess EA. Oh, almost flip structure here. Not quite, but almost. Still be preferencing the sells. But if again, I think it's come from the daily low. If it did now figure in some sellers, that would be fantastic. But it did close, for instance, how it's forming now, only to be wiped out in the following candle. That to me would be a really high probability opportunity to take a buy. Let's quickly look at GU. Continuing bearish here, so yeah, a little bit late if not in that move. EU also to the downside. EJ rejecting. All right, so it did say wait for session open, don't jump in. And it triggered in sellers, that's a good thing. So similar to what I mentioned just then on EA, if it was to wipe out these sellers, it's a step ahead. Close back above, then EJ would be a really nice option to the upside here. Otherwise I'd just be waiting for buys from the support at this rate. And let's quickly look at UJ. Same thing, nice one. So it's triggered in some sellers. That's exactly what I wanted to see, what I mentioned a while back. So now if we'll wipe those sellers out, close back up near the high here, and that may be a really nice opportunity to take a buy back up as well. Would have been nice to this close weak bearish, but nonetheless still be valid as long as you close above now. I'd be waiting for the closure as opposed to any impulse entry. Mr. Kevin, appreciate stickers, mate. Thank you. True calm. Again, I don't have the right confirmation at the minute. All right. So ideally, what I would like to see now is there's one of two options. 15-minute bullish engulfing. That is a clear catalyst. So engulfing meaning closes above the highest point of that bearish candle. Second potential option would be, again, we just want to close the 15 bullish, but within it, on the 5-minute, we've had a little bit of this sort of action. So this candle may have closed strong bullish. Following candle may have closed weak bearish. And then the third candle to wrap up the M15 closes once again, something like that, bullish engulfing. What that's going to do is close the 15-minute back, not quite engulfing, but it's going to close it bullish. So it's going to close it looking somewhat like so, bouncing off this support. And you've also created a little bit of minor resistance from the support, albeit in the 5-minute time frame. So as long as we create a bit of a lower wick on the new candle, broke above the 15-minute bullish candle, I do believe there is a high probability of price coming back up to within this zone of liquidity. So that would be a potential thing we could look at as well. So we're waiting until the 15-minute candle closes before jumping in a buy at the minute, guys. That's what I'm doing anyway. Crazy CPT, Pierre, buy or sell. I'm looking for buys from the current level. Mr. Giddy is gold confirmed buy. Not confirmed, not just yet. So seeing I don't yet have the confirmation, this is not my trade. So if it just pumps now, there is nothing I can do about it. Because to me, it's a lower probability trade. It's just it's more risky. Doesn't mean it's not going to work or it can't work. It's just higher risk because I didn't have the right confirmation in accordance to what works for me prior to the entry. That buy zone to my Thai friend, yeah, it is a zone for me to look to buy it from, but again, I just don't have the confirmation at the minute. That's Sim, second round profit, nice one. Jumped in and out quickly. To my Thai friend, thank you for sharing the live, appreciate it. And thank you to the new followers, guys. Good to see the numbers are good on TikTok today. Very surprised. Tommy, welcome, mate. Hope you're well. Nice to see me back. Yeah, it's good to be back on stream. It's shit to be back in Melbourne. All right, so potentially it's forming what I'd like to see happen. Nice strong closure in the first M5. See what happens here if we get through in the sellers. We close back a bearish candle. Do good life. Can we buy now? Again, I don't have the right confirmation personally. It is definitely a level of interest, but I need to patiently wait for my signal, my trigger. Kelvin, do you have videos on how you mark your support and resistance level? On TikTok, I'm not too sure, to be honest. Look, I briefly go over it. That's why it's also in your best interest to make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because you can watch the replay of the stream as well. So how long are we into the stream? So if you want to write it down, go back to YouTube channel later. We're 1 hour and 21 minutes in. This is where I talk about how I'm marking my zones. It's a little bit subjective. Now here on gold, what I'm going to do is because we don't really have a zone here. So the zone basically is a level where we have at the particular level zone of support, we want to look for the lowest point of any bullish candle. And want to adjoin it to the closest closure of any bullish candle, or open, sorry. So in this instance here, so let's actually focus on the one lower down. It's easier to use as the example. Now I could have easily used this candle. So the lowest point in that candle is just here, 40.06. But we've got a wick, which is a little bit lower down here at 4001.53. So the closest body open of any bullish candle to this actual lowest point is the same candle. So let's just say if this candle was actually lower down, let's just say we've had a bit of consolidation around here. I know that doesn't look right, it would have gapped down, but let's just say that was the lowest closest open to the lowest point of any bullish candle, then I would just drag this zone down to that point, if that makes sense. That's the lowest point, that's the closest open of any bullish candle. And vice versa to the opposite side. So to the upside, we're looking for the highest point of any bearish candle. I used the most recent. I have not marked this level in because I'm not interested in buying from it. However, I could mark it in now, to be honest, because it could be a level to sell from. And this is a good example of what I mean. Highest point of any bearish candle at this particular level of interest, this resistance, is this 43.80. Now the closest closure so happens to be, and I'll change it to blue, seeing it's a M15 zone, it's a minor zone. Closest open of any bearish candle at the resistance is not the same candle here. It's a candle just slightly to the right hand side. So that is my zone. What we can see is we've got clean traffic within these two levels at the minute. So now I can look for options now to sell. If we do reject yet again 40.40, I would look for a potential opportunity to take a sell. So that is pretty much how I mark in my zone. So it's, again, it's subjective. See, other people don't even mark in zones, they just use horizontals. Some will just randomly draw something in like this. I have no idea why, but that's just how I do it personally. It's what works for me, because the amount of times I see price react to the whole zone itself, I'd be a multi-millionaire, to be honest. It happens, I mean, all the time. Price gravitates these levels. I could have had a zone here if I wanted to, and you can see price tapped in multiple times. All right, meantime, we've kept pushing bullish, guys. So looks like the only option, let me mark in where we We were to close engulfing, has to be above there. All right, let's go back to the 5 minute. All right, so now what I need to see, and this will be all right, guys. Would not be a bad thing if this 5 minute wicks down a little bit lower. Only if we were to close back above this horizontal. Now, what this horizontal is the highest point of that previous bearish candle. So at that point, what we're going to be doing is engulfing that bearish candle completely. Not only that, within the 15-minute time frame on the M5, we've formed a minor resistance. We've had a minor pause after tapping into the support. So if price was to therefore create a lower wick on the new candle and begins to break a high of that pause candle, I will look to take a buy back up towards the daily candle's high. So this 5 minute candle needs to close back bearish, and we need to close above the lower horizontal here. 3.5 minutes to see if that is to be the case. Asset Sim, thank you, mate, for the stickers as well. Appreciate it. Tab, can we buy now? No, I'm waiting for this M5/M15 to close before I potentially have the right confirmation. I mean, I will do a video at some point, a short reel, I suppose, about how I'm marking my zones. Because it is very subjective. To me, this is what works. To others, it's not necessary. Others, again, are marking completely differently to what I do. Alright, so like I mentioned, guys, we want this M5 close above the lower horizontal here. Closing back weak bearish. That used to be the case. We're going to have a 15-minute closing bullish engulfing. What we're going to do is wait for a lower wick to form on the new M15/M5. As it begins, there's two options here. I would preference the buys above the high of the actual 15-minute bullish candle. But the other option would be a buy above the bearish weak pause candle's high. So I'll let you know if we have the right confirmation what I am going to plan to do. We need to wait 1 minute and 40 seconds to see if we have the right confirmation. Because at the minute we are printing pretty strong bearish here. When person market is bearish, that's extremely bullish here on gold, but I do see potential downside opportunities as well. Not writing off sells, but I am very bullish on gold. Now, the other option, the downside option here, guys, is we want to close below a high of this blue zone. Because what this would suggest to me is, once again, we're pulled all the way back above this, into the range above. That would suggest we grab upside liquidity. If we were to break the minor pause candles high, again, using that fib trick, which I use as a confirmation, we would have closed below 0.382, well below it. Even below 0.236, which is good. So as long as the new candle creates an upper wick, so we want it to close below the high of this blue zone. As long as the new candle creates a bit of an upper wick and begins to break below that bullish candle, that would also be a catalyst for me to sell it. Your stop loss would have to be above the entry candle though, because otherwise it is just way too wide. But at the minute, no confirmation, guys. Gonna close back strong bearish, but not strong enough to give us that sell below support. Oh, not quite. Tried though, and definitely not strong enough to buy it. So still chilling, guys. Nothing for me. Now, next option is waiting for this 15-minute candle and seeing where we're at. We close back bearish, now back below. I have a signal. Sell it. So you can see as data prints, I reassess, guys. I come up with a new plan, create some new rules, and I stick to those rules. Now, I'm not waiting for a 5-minute closure. I'm waiting for a 15-minute closure here. It's a 15-minute candle. I want to see price close below that point. Wow, look at it drop. Kelvin, it's exact same profile name, mate. So I'm streaming live on YouTube at the minute. Very surprised with the numbers as well. Wow. Even you guys on YouTube have shown up for today. Appreciate it. And if this thing shits the bed, the last option will be the interruption entry. So this is the pause, the bullish candle. And I'll explain that if need be closer to the time. I know. Yeah, I've noticed you haven't been around much of late, mate. Hope all is well. Okay, guys, just give me 1 minute. I'll be back very, very shortly, so don't go anywhere.
Still go, even when you feel slow, you can still go, even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go, 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 go.
Alrighty, guys, what's going on? Anyone running trades at the minute? Dave, in the middle of merger, so lots going on. Fair enough, mate. So this zone is still holding at the minute. Very interesting here. Bit of an arm wrestle, so let's see. It does line up with some resistance further to the left hand side as well, so it is obviously a minor level of interest that we are struggling to decide whether we're going to continue through it or remain above it. Again, in this under these circumstances, to me, we just need to wait for the confirmation, wait patiently for this 15-minute candle to close above. There could be a potential buy option. Once again, that will more come down to price action on the following candle, because that will be a lot more of an impulsive entry anyway. And to the downside, we want the closure below. Half just sitting away. Fair enough, mate. Likewise. Saba Varga, you waiting for M30 candle? Fair enough. Yep. Osha sell from here. Potentially, I want it below that blue zone. Earlier I've about pay that I want to trade with, but I'm too scared, so I just use 100. Yeah, well, to be honest, if you're too scared, then I wouldn't, because it is a shock to the system. I remember jumping from just 1k up to 10k initially, and that was a big hit to the system. To be honest, it was a big shock. Just take your time with it. So trust yourself, become good at what you're doing, you know, develop your edge, get it to the point where you got, you know, some decent steady results, and then just slowly up the, you know, small increments, add equity to your account. So it might be adding another £100 next. But the thing is, if you're not comfortable, then don't chuck in 500. You're gonna shit yourself big time. Saba, yeah, look, trading, a lot of it, big part of it's up in the head. There's stories of some of the smartest people in the world who just couldn't cut it because they could not control the emotions and accepting the fact that you can't win every trade. Don G triple G, usual lot sizes just depends, it varies, to be honest. I generally use fixed lots. That's nothing huge. The most I've used is 8. I'm not using that much at the minute. Melly sell the Palace. What's the bias? The bias is bullish, but I'm not opposed to sells. All right, let's see how this 30-minute closes as well, guys. Early you invested into Bitcoin in 2023, doubled money, but that was only 12k. Still, that's pretty good return. Saba M30 closes at 40, 28, 29, 30, then long is the way. Yeah, it's looking like it may, to be honest. All right. Mark that level in, and that would be the M30 closing up near its high as well. It's far-fetched. I don't know if we're going to do it in less than a, well, we still got 6 and a bit minutes actually, but that's the 5-minute level now. So I want to be above that, to be honest. KMC explain mitigated order block. Sorry, the chat's moved. I think that's what you said. Let me see. No idea, to be honest. Mitigated order block. I'm assuming it's when price pops back down to a level of considerable area of accumulation and reverses. I have no idea, to be honest. Mitigated order blocks. I don't trade order blocks, so just call it support and resistance. We're bouncing off a minor support, which lines up some previous resistance, and why I'm looking for a buy from the current level. Sells below it. Patan, where is TP? There's no entry just yet. Shadow Master, maybe he can try trade funding account first. For early, you mean? Trade funding account? Yeah. To be honest, it's the same deal though. It's the same shit unless you're confident, comfortable enough, because that would test you out even more, to be honest, because it's so strict with rules and that. I wouldn't bother. I'd just trade a live account, to be honest, and get good at that. And then if you want to buy a funded account, have a bit of fun with that at the same time, possibly do so. You could even copy trade it. That would be one way of going about it onto a funded account. Six minutes to go. Start it. Yep. Let's see. So once again, we're a little bit indecisive here. Let's quickly take a look at some of the other pairs. GJ, consolidating, nothing there. EA, all right, strongly reacting to that level, and we are remaining bearish here. This would be perfect if this closed as is. That would be a cracking sell. What you will have is M30 closing back very strong bearish after retesting and remaining bearish in structure here. Retesting last significant lower high only to reject. Within it, you formed a weak bullish M15 candle, creating a minor support back below the resistance. So price was to begin to break the low of that bullish candle. Prior to it creating a bit of an upper wick. At the same time, it's going to be breaking low of the M30 strong bearish candle. High probability we're heading back down to the daily low. So that's something I would contemplate if it was happening on gold. I mean, it's a high probability trade. All right, gold rejecting, still indecisive at the current level, not really giving us any clear signal at the minute. GU continuing bearish. GU looking not bad as well. It's triggered in buyers. It's tapped in and rejected that previous level of support. It's all about what the traffic is like to the left. Not sure if you're gonna have the margin, to be honest. M30 looks a little bit better. Yeah, it's not bad, but there's not a great deal of margin. EU, no margin. UJ still, yeah, I'd want it to close stronger before buying it. And EJ just consolidating as well. Oh, could we get the sell, guys? So if this, we want it to close like this, we want it to close weak bullish. And then if that's to be the case, I'm waiting for an upper wick and I'm going to sell it as it breaks low of the previous M30. Yes, M30, which will be the previous M30. So that on my broker is 30.2486 or 30.2466. Not sending it just yet, but I'm getting it ready just in case. Now stop would have to be above the M15 for the time being. No, actually no, it'd have to be above the entry candle. It's still too wide. Still more than 70 pips. We need it again. We need it to close within, back below the high of this blue zone. That was the rule, remember, that I created before, guys. We don't want it to be respecting this M15 zone here. We want it to be below it. Got 40 seconds to wait and see. What is meme coin? It's not a meme coin. Just missed the dude. In a very strong uptrend. Maybe not quite just ready at the minute, but to me it's definitely more bullish than bearish. Hey guys, it looks like we're not going to get confirmation for the sell option, and it's definitely not strong enough for me to buy it at the current level. Is what it is, nothing I can do about it. Yeah, it's way too strong of a closure to sell it. Alright, rules haven't been ticked off, guys. Simple. That's how you should trade. Have a plan, create the rules, stick to it. As a sim can wait for 40.24. Yeah, I mean you could. Cam L, Not in a minute, no. I don't have the right confirmation. Ideal scenario, 15 cycles. Fun. Eterno, glad to be back on your stream, man. How's time? Yeah, it was good, man. Really good. Just got back, unfortunately, but all good. Thank you for asking. Good to have you in the chat. Trade Delicious, good morning to you. Winnie Sani, hello to you. You're new here, so I'm loving scalping gold. Can anybody help with the fundamental events? Where can I read the news events? I suggest, well, the one that most of the prop firms follow in regards to, you know, parameters for what events you can and cannot trade. So if, for instance, you're not allowed to trade red fall news events, they'll use Forex Factory. That's this one here. To me, it lags a little bit. Financial Juice I find to be a good one. So either or you can have both, you know, tabs open. You can have a tab for both, I mean. If saying Financial Juice, yeah, it's better than Forex Factory. ML, I'm your confirmation. Well, that's the case. I'm not buying it at the minute, to be honest. Bong G Triple G, what lot size she use for a $1,000 account? Thank you. Look, it all depends on your stop loss, to be honest, but generally speaking, you're looking at probably about a 10-cent lot, anywhere from, again, depends on your stop loss, probably about 0.5 to 10 cents. But it all comes down to your stop loss, and to be honest, with gold, with the volume of gold these days, you're gonna have a wide stop loss, so you're probably looking at starting around that 3-cent mark, I reckon. Anywhere between 3 and 10 cents. 10 on the high end of things, but probably more around that 3 and 5 cent mark. Volatility 75, 2 and 5 cents. Yeah, it's also, again, with depending on your stop loss. So what I would suggest is having a risk, a lot size calculator, and input the amount you would like to risk for a trade. I would suggest no more than 2% a trade. Input your parameters, so where your stop loss is, where your entry is, and that will give you what your lot size should be. There's free versions of it if you're not sure what website. Assuming Baby Pips would have one. To be honest, I use this and that does it all for me. All I have to do is set where I want the entry, what levels and all that, and it will automatically. But I use fixed lots, so for me, my fixed lot would depend on the quality of the trade and how wide its stop loss is. But generally speaking, with this particular toolkit, if you just put in what percent you want to risk, and you can just literally adjust your horizontals, it will automatically, in accordance to your risk, it will automatically give you a lot size. Dong, just magic keys, mate. Again, I do have an affiliate link. I think that's only on the YouTube channel in the description under the live stream. It's not expensive. I'm not sure if it applies to the on-screen version though. But yeah, just search up. I'll type it in the chat for you. I've got both the hardware kit. This is the original, so it's outdated, but it still works. But it looks a lot better these days. And the on-screen. So I think they give you the on-screen for free. Well, they gave me the on-screen for free anyway. If you purchase the actual hardware toolkit. Mr. Kevin, no, I personally wouldn't be entering a buy just yet. Oh, Michigan, you sold from 42. Nice one. Nice work. Saba, yeah, there's nothing at the minute. true. It's just waiting out at the moment. L, am I showing GJ? I'm not trading GJ, to be honest. To me, it's does this so often now, it just consolidates. Alright, so the last thing I might wait for here, guys, just to see where this 15-minute closes. If it closes bearish back below support, then I will look for a sell. Not, and I just don't think it's going to happen for the time being. So we'll wait around till this 15-minute candle closes and we'll see where we're at. Thank you to the new sub on YouTube as well. Gleck 8881, I'm struggling this week. Is the market choppy or am I just being daft? No, look, only being daft if you're not following your plan and you're, you know, reacting or acting, sorry, on emotions. To be honest, this is the first I've looked at the charts for the last 10 days, basically. I've been away. Yeah, it is tough today by the looks of it. I'm not sure about how it's been throughout though. Looks like if you've been buying for the most part, you'd be on the right side of things. So I was saying wait 22 minutes and closes the hourly candle MP. Yep. To be honest, it's a pretty good option at the moment. Because if this hourly, if we do begin to push back bullish here, it's going to close the hourly quite strong bullish. Also going to have the M30 once again bouncing off this support, closing back bullish. You're going to have the 15. Be nice if that was to be the case. If this 15 closed, for instance, bearish, tapping into this support, and then only to be followed by the next M15. Once again, giving you a price action signal within the 30 and the hourly, closing something like this, bullish engulfing. That would be a cracking entry signal for a buy on the next hourly and M30. Gleck 8881, it's been so up and down, no real direction on short time frame. Scalp some being burnt. Yeah, so probably that's being, if that's the case, then what I'd ask you is, have you followed your rules? Have you waited for candle closures, or have you been acting more impulsive? And if you have been acting more impulsive, then I would definitely be waiting for stronger confirmations. So for the most part, I look for closures of candles to give me my confirmation. Oh, Michigan? No, I don't use SMC. I use A.C.T. El Michigan, A.C.T, analyze, confirm, trade, Forex. L fronts on, you just long, good or bad? Look, the level's not a bad level, but I'm not sure what your confirmation was. You know, you may have one, so I'm not saying it's a shit trade. I just don't see the right confirmation to buy it just yet. But as far as the level, it's not a bad level. DL, all good, mate. Hope you're well. Uzi, g'day to you. Welcome back to the stream. Thank you for the stickers as well. Yeah, bad thing stop gambling. Yeah, well, if there is no confirmation, then there is no entry, so. Zaba, you're a good trader. How much is your bankroll? It's not really of anyone's interest, to be honest. It's only 13 million. In my dreams, 13 million. Closer to $13 than 13 million. No one benefits either way. Like I've mentioned before, it's not a huge account. It's enough to see some decent returns, and it's also enough to see some significant losses if I don't be careful. So enjoyed some of it on my 10-day, well, it was less than 10 days, but 10 days since I've been off stream. Uzi, if you have set up, then it's good. Yep, great. Oh, Franson checked M15 and thought I saw an IFVG. You tested it in green. No idea. I don't trade fair value gaps. Yep, patience key. Saba Bargra. No, I'm kidding, man. It's not 13 million. Like I said, it's closer to $13 than 13 million. I don't know, one day I'll get to that. Gold Snipe, go to you, mate. Always thought I'd stop streaming. Nah, I just enjoyed time away from the charts and from the stream and from work, to be honest. Lemon can't get to you. How many screens? 3. The more the better, yeah. Supposedly. So to be honest, I actually need one more, but three's good enough. Carl, yeah. I bought a few mansions, a few palaces. Gold Snipe, people need to take note. The dollar isn't going down. It's gold. Yeah, exactly. It's gold lose. It's the dollar. It's the dollar losing bargaining power. So it's not worth near as much as what it used to be. Need a load, Carl. You can spare a couple million. Viet Dong. Viet Dong. What's a couple million about? £50 or something like that. Gold Snipe, don't blame me, to be honest. I couldn't be bothered doing it full time. Yeah, look, it's always great to take a break from the charts. The charts are always there. Wasn't tempted at all to look at it. I enjoyed some decent withdrawal to enjoy some of the spoils while I was away. That's what I always recommend. If you do see profits, do enjoy some of it because it will make you appreciate it more. Do take some do withdrawals at times. Makes you appreciate more. If you actually feel it, use it. ASS going up. Gold Sniper messing around with cars more than I'm train. Fair enough, mate. Saba was a lost day yesterday. Fair enough, mate. Again, I wasn't on the charts. Oh, Francis is yes, lucky trade, but at least closed profit. Nice one. Alright guys, so I didn't get the right confirmation. We are just consolidating at the minute. There is no clear direction at the support. So for me, once again, it will likely come down to how the hourly counter closes, but I'm not going to stick around for that. I'm going to go off, make some dinner, and chill for a bit, chill my voice. So that's what we're waiting for. Like I mentioned before, this M15 didn't quite close back bearish, but if we close back up near the high, still pretty good confirmation that we're going to head back up to the daily high. With the sells, I still want to be below 40, 25, 50 at this rate. Be patient, wait for closures, and that's pretty much it moving forward. Guys, that's what I'll be looking at anyway. In the meantime, appreciate it, guys. I really thought I'd have no one on stream today, but it's good to see TikTok up to over 150 and YouTube it's around the 50 I think we got to. So appreciate the support. Gold Sniper, no, just tired, mate, because I've had pretty much no sleep on the flight in the last few days and last night as well. Franco, yeah, possibly. It might just be a quick update. I'm not going to hang around because I've got a very early start tomorrow. But guys, do take care, trade safe, don't do anything stupid, and until tomorrow, I'll catch you same time, same place. Take care, guys. Till then, have a good one. Cheers, team. Bye, guys.